The Summer I Turned Pretty is written... I've been gone for a while. Depression. We watched a show called The Summer I Turned Pretty. I have to admit, I was put off very much so by that title. It didn't make much sense to me, you know? It made it almost sound kind of magical. I genuinely thought going into this that it would be some kind of fairy tale where she just suddenly becomes pretty. It's not fantastical. Well, it's not supernatural. Let me put it that way. Fantastical un poquito. But that's okay because it's a teen romance, you know? All teen romances are a little bit of a fantasy depending on what your life was like in high school. Mine certainly was not, having 3 different boys wanting to profess their love to me when I was 15 years old in a beach town, while I was also being presented to the world in a gorgeous ball gown. But that's just me. I mean, maybe Jenny Han had that. Anyways, it seems like Amazon Prime really takes a back seat compared to all the other streaming services, which it's not going to for very long, especially when it releases that Lord of the Rings series that everybody's been talking about. But anyways, this video is not titled Amazon Prime Streaming. It's titled The Summer I Turned Pretty, or something along those lines. The Summer I Turned Pretty is based on a book written by Jenny Han, who also wrote the To All the Boys I Loved Before trilogy. Now, I've come to learn that The Summer I Turned Pretty is also a trilogy, and let me just start off by saying I've not read the books. I think I might now, just because I want to see how different the book was from the actual series, especially because Jenny Han is a producer on this TV show. It cannot have strayed too far from the book, but it also, you know, every single adaptation cuts some things or changes some things no matter what. This video will only be about the series. It's not going to be about the books. But I am critiquing Jenny Han for naming her main character Belly. But I've never read the books. Maybe it's like a cute, fun thing in the books. But as far as the series goes, I'm just thinking, why? Why not call her Isabella? It's such a beautiful name. And then Belly? Mommy, my belly's hurting. Like, why? Why? Also, it's very infantilizing. It de-ages her dramatically when they keep calling her Belly, and she's supposed to be this like beautiful woman being presented into society, and they keep on calling her Belly. The Summer I Turned Pretty. It follows a girl named Belly, as we've discussed, and every summer she goes to this house in Beaches or Coaches or Capes. What is it called? Cousins. I had to Google it. Where the hell is Cousins? So Belly goes to Cousins every single summer because her mother is very, very, very good friends with a woman named Susanna who owns a house there. Susanna has 2 sons, Conrad and Jeremiah. Now, in the pilot, it's established that Belly has a pretty big crush on Conrad. I have to admit, I missed the part where she said she had a crush on him. I'm sure she says it somewhere, but just in case she doesn't say it, it's pretty fucking obvious whenever he floats into frame when Taylor Swift's Lover is playing. You know, it's so cheesy. I love it. Now, what's different about this summer is that Belly is hot now. That's it. That's how the summer that she turned pretty. She's hot now. That's really the meaning of the title. Over the course of the summer, she decides to be a debutante for the debutante ball, which, if you don't know what that is, I don't really know what it is either. It's like a high society thing where you're presented to the world as a woman. I really wouldn't know. My father was a deep feminist, and he didn't even let me have Barbies growing up, so I doubt he would let me be a debutante, even if our small town in Texas had a debutante ball. Belly believes that this is finally the summer where she and Conrad will get together. But what she comes to realize is that in Cousins, apparently, there is a wealth of boys, beautiful boys, who just want her heart. One of whom is Jeremiah, the younger brother and her self-proclaimed best friend. Now we're wandering into spoiler territory. So if you haven't seen it and you don't want spoilers, I suggest you stop watching. Now, the entire series, I would say, is it's well done. What surprised me most were the actors. Every single actor, I thought, gave an excellent performance, with the exception of a couple, which I might get into later. But overall, I thought all the kids were believable. I thought they were really great. I thought Conrad as the moody, you know, dark, brooding Edward Cullen type, I thought he worked. And I thought Jeremiah as the kind of golden retriever, puppy dog, bright-eyed, hot guy, he's a fucking lifeguard too. Like, I thought that it worked. Belly herself was gorgeous. Steven, Steven, Belly's brother, I don't even know what his deal was, but he really annoyed me, and I don't know if that's a testament to the actor or the character or the writer. I'm not sure I'm supposed to be annoyed with Steven, but yeah, I pretty much could not stand his character the entire time. I just kept thinking, why is he even here? What does he add to the plot? And what was that weird half-baked plot with the gambling that ended up having no real consequences? Whatever. Let's start with Belly. Now, the thing that I really couldn't get over, and the thing that just kept me laughing every time they mentioned just how hot she was, or how beautiful she was, or every time a male character would just kind of stare at her, I found it so funny. And it's not because I don't think Lola Tongue is beautiful, because I think she is gorgeous. I think she is hot, and I think every character was in the right mind to do these things. What I think is ridiculous is that they weren't doing it before. The summer before, the summer where I'm guessing she's 14 years old, she doesn't look much different to me. She just has glasses. It's one of those instances where they take off their glasses and then suddenly they're hot. Like, are glasses really just that much worse? Does that look better? Am I pretty now?
I liked you better with glasses.
Too bad. I like me better without them.
Oh no, but it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous because she looked the exact same as she did the summer before, and yet everybody is saying, oh my god, you're so pretty, look at you, you have boobs now. And it just, I don't know how they could have done it any better. I think it would have worked in their favor better if they'd skipped a summer or two, if it had been 3 or 4 years since they'd seen Belly. But again, every time they aged the kids down, like they just threw a baseball cap or glasses on them, and it looked ridiculous. Belly's our protagonist. We see the world through her eyes. We obviously root for her. Hotness aside, Belly is the typical protagonist, I would say, of this genre of romance. She isn't really that out of the box. She's like a normal kid who wants love. There's not much to say about Belly's personality beyond the fact that she likes Conrad a lot. Oh, and volleyball. Apparently she's like incredibly competitive when it comes to volleyball, which I feel like was an addition late in the series when they did the volleyball tournament. I don't know why they dedicated a whole episode to a volleyball tournament, by the way. Again, I think this is one of those instances where it makes sense in the book, but in the series, it's just kind of a little out of place. Even when she's on the date with Cam Cameron, who is her first little boyfriend in the series, I cannot tell you anything about her personality that she shared with him. I don't think she shared a single thing about herself on all the dates with Cam Cameron. Whereas I know a lot about Cam Cameron. He's a vegan. He loves animals. He wants to be a marine biologist and wants to discover the unknown truths of the ocean. He seems like a really cool guy. And not only that, he doesn't drink. He's sweet. And he was unbelievably mature when she dumped him. I love Cam Cameron. I think Cam Cameron's great. I think Cam Cameron has a personality. But again, this isn't really a huge issue because every single protagonist is like that. Katniss Everdeen was like that. She didn't really have much of a personality other than the fact that she was angry. She was angry all the time. That was Katniss Everdeen. But I still love Katniss Everdeen because you are Katniss Everdeen. Do you get what I'm saying? The protagonist always has to be boring. Carly from iCarly. Boring as hell, but you still love her because she is you. And that's not why we're here. We are here turning pretty this summer because we are falling in love with the boys. Conrad. I'm gonna say, am I team Conrad? Yes. Is it because I think Conrad is hotter? No. It's because the show very, very clearly wants us to be team Conrad. From the minute he appears on screen to even in the stories about the past, like all the flashbacks, he's defending her, he's helping her out, he's teaching her about math. I swear to God, if a boy tried to mansplain infinity to me when I was a kid, he would have gotten smacked. I swear to God. The biggest personality trait of Conrad's is that he's a sailor. He likes to sail. Another very important personality trait of Conrad's is that he has daddy issues. Can't be in love with a boy if he doesn't have daddy issues. Another great thing about Conrad is that He is broody. Now, there's something about brooding boys that just is delightful. Maybe it's because they're sad, therefore they are introspective. Or maybe it's just because they're not talking. If you're a man watching this, please, I'm kidding. It was a joke. And if you're a man watching this, hi. Welcome. I don't know how you got here. But I personally do not like the brooding stereotype. I think it was annoying when it was Edward Cullen. It was annoying. I just think it reeks of self-pity. And so when I saw that they were doing the same thing with Conrad, I was like, ugh, okay. He's clearly her love interest because he's the dark broody one, and everybody is trained to love the dark broody one. But then at the end, it's revealed that he's broody because his mother is dying. And he knows it, and he's not supposed to know it. And that's a very legitimate reason to be depressed. And so I'm gonna conclude by saying, I like Conrad. He has a reason to be upset, and he's still a good person, because when Jeremiah finds out that his mother has cancer, he still kind of tries to help his brother. He still tries to protect him. Jeremiah. Where do I begin? First of all, this actor. Where the hell did he come from, and how has he not been in more things? I mean, with a face like that, you would imagine him to be littered in thousands of Netflix originals. So Jeremiah's like really hot. Jeremiah is the same age as Belly's brother Steven, and Jeremiah is a fun guy. He's bisexual, he listens to SZA, he's kind of a slut, and we love him for it. He's got the slightly bleached hair that makes him look kind of blonde. He is the bright, shiny star next to Connor's cloudy, drab sky. Did I say Connor? I meant Conrad. Sorry, Conrad. What are these names also? Conrad, Belly, Jeremiah. Okay. Jeremiah spends a lot of the series not interested in Belly. In fact, his feelings came so out of nowhere. I was actually genuinely upset when he shot the firework at Belly and Conrad. Because I was just thinking, Conrad has shown hints. He's looked at her every now and then. Conrad, he seems to be into Belly. Jeremiah being into Belly his whole life apparently, that came out of nowhere. There were zero hints. In fact, one of my biggest issues with the series is that it took until like episode 4 for one of the two boys to actually pursue her in any way. The whole first half of the series is Belly and Cam Cameron, which didn't make a lot of sense to me to focus so much on Cam Cameron if she's just gonna break his sweet little marine biologist heart. I guess it's so that she has a first something that's not one of these boys. It's a pretty classic trope you see with girls who are virginal. They have to have their first with the wrong guy so that they can have the best with the right guy. But in my opinion, Cam Cameron was the best. And that's all I'll say on that. Anyways, Jeremiah is in love with Belly. Apparently he has been for a while. And then I guess seeing Conrad about to kiss Belly just sent him over the edge. And so he shot a freaking firework in their direction. It's kind of violent, Jeremiah. And it's one of the main reasons I'm not quite Team Jeremiah. I don't think I ever will be. I don't think they had that much chemistry. In fact, let's move on to Belly's actual best friend, Taylor. Taylor has a very minor role in this series. She's another character that I wasn't so sure about why she was there until later on when she pushed Belly to be with Jeremiah. Even that was unnecessary because she still ended up with Conrad. This is the problem with adaptations. I can't tell why these characters are here because clearly they're important in the books, but in the series they're just kind of like, why the fuck are you here? What are you doing here? Taylor, in her first episode that she's introduced, but the one where she visits for Belly's birthday, she's kind of a mess. At first you think she's into Conrad, and then you think she's into Jeremiah, and then all of a sudden she's making out with Steven? What? Steven's so goddamn annoying. That scene when he finds out about Jeremiah and Belly, I'm just like, why? This is 2022. Are we really still having brothers pulling this shit? It makes zero sense. Plus, isn't that like a fun thing? Imagine if they got married. Then your best friend would be your brother-in-law. Come on, Steven, what's not to love about it? Steven's dating Shayla, who has a British accent for some reason. I like Shayla. I actually really like Shayla. I thought she was a really compassionate person, and I think she forgave Steven for kissing Taylor way too easily. Actually, she forgave Steven for doing a lot of shit way too easily. All of it was driven by Steven's insecurity. Every mistake he made this season was because he was insecure about being with her. The only time I really liked Steven was when he threw the clump of hair at Belly. The moms and Cleveland Castillo. Susanna, I'm not gonna lie, I found pretty fucking selfish. I'm sorry, girl, that you got cancer. That's actually terrible. And I would never know what I would do, especially if I'd overcome it once and then I got it again. I have no idea what I would do in that situation. But obviously she has the fight within her, otherwise she would not have agreed at the end to continue fighting it. What I hate is that what they say she's known since spring, so like March, and it's July 4th now. So that's a good 3-4 months that she's known that she had cancer. And she's just been living with it, growing inside of her body. And she's decided that she's not going to fight it, and she's not going to tell her kids about it. If either of my parents were dying of cancer, and they knew for months before telling me, I would be so furious. I wouldn't know what to do. I would just be so angry. Because if I had known, if Jeremiah and Conrad had known, well, Conrad does know. I don't know how he knew. If Jeremiah and Conrad had known, they would have used that time with her. And then at the end, when everybody knows and they're begging her to fight, she fights? Girl, you just wasted so much time. It's okay, it's a fictional series. It's whatever. You know, that scene with them on the couch crying, heartbreaking. Broke my heart. It was good. It was a good heartbreak. So the first part of the series is just about her dating Cameron. The middle bit of the series is about her developing her relationship with Conrad and Jeremiah. And then the end, of course, is a debutante ball where Jeremiah is away from Belly in her time of need, which is literally just a dance. And so Conrad steps in and they dance and they, I guess, fall in love or something with the one dance. I don't know. It's believable. It's believable. And then the ending is, of course, this bombshell that's been dropped. And this is like the last 10 minutes of the series too. It was so condensed into that final episode. They really should have just made another episode, because 7 is also a weird number. 7 in a series? Who does that? Just give it a good 8 episodes, you know? It was so rushed that not a lot of storylines were wrapped up at all. Cleveland Castillo, first of all, asks Laurel to go with him to New York. What happened to that? Because I'm rooting for those two kids. They're fun. I like them. Let's go, middle-aged romance. I want to see more of that. I want to see more of Joyce and Hopper and Cleveland Castillo and Laurel. The biggest thing that felt really rushed, that final kiss. Oof. I hope I didn't break any of your hearts when I said that. The kiss on the beach. I was waiting for that moment. I think we all were holding our breath until they finally kissed. But the scene on the beach felt so weird. And it was the last shot, too. It was the last shot of the series. And I just couldn't help but think, why? What's going on with Jeremiah? Did she break up with Jeremiah? Does Jeremiah know? Is Jeremiah watching from afar? Is Jeremiah still grieving over his mother and Belly's making out with Conrad? There are so many questions that were left unanswered. I guess it's a good thing because now I want to see the next season, but it seemed rushed. Give Belly and Conrad more than that tiny little conversation that they had before the kiss. Actually, you know what? They don't even need the extra episode. They could have taken the whole volleyball tournament out and they would have had time. They would have had time to put in all of the extra stuff that I need in my heart. The soundtrack was so ridiculous, but in such a good way. I mean, I think they just took some high schoolers' Taylor Swift, Olivia Rodrigo playlist and just put it on shuffle. But I loved every second of it. All in all, it was an enjoyable series and I really liked it. I had some issues with it, but I have issues with everything. It's nothing new. And if I have issues with your series, it means that I've finished your series. And it's flattery is what it is. But yeah, let me know. Are you Team Conrad or are you Team Jeremiah? I think the second series is obviously going to deal with her getting back together with Jeremiah because Conrad's going to do something that's going to hurt her feelings. Oh, and it's a mess and it's dramatic and I love it. If you're looking for just like a genuinely feel-good show to just be distracted by and fall in love with and look at these dumb little teenagers and hope that their problems were your problems, watch this show. It's a good show. It's fun. It's an escape and it has a fucking fun soundtrack. And now if you'll excuse me, I'm on my way to go read the books and see what I missed. Or maybe not. I have actually a shit ton of books to get through. I've got a big list. Eventually,